Welcome to our latest episode of From the Horsebox, where we bring the garden to gourmet. So all you growers out there, keep listening.
What's for supper tonight, Kate? A bit of dough risole from John the Fish, episode 16. And will you be reaching for the frozen petit pois?
Gosh, I'm still on my morning coffee, and dinner seems a long way off. But for those who know my husband, he's not too keen on his greens.
Well, we're having vegetable fritters with Savoy cabbage, served with sour cream and parsley, thanks to local entrepreneur Sarah Evans, who began growing produce during lockdown. Sarah's lively chat will inspire us to sparkle up our vegetable menus.
Spring is just round the corner, hopefully, and we'll all feel invigorated. So let's get planting.
Well, this February, From the Horsebox brings you veg boxes in all their vibrant, colourful, organic glory. We all aim to be healthier in 2023, and that means eating good quality food grown in the UK.
Yes, a very warm welcome to Sarah Evans of Watery Lane Produce Vegetable Boxes, which launched in January 2022 and are delivered in a 5-mile radius around Overton-on-Dee in ever-increasing numbers. Sarah, how did this veg venture begin?
Well, it was took a little bit of time, really. We spent some time over the previous years trying to think of a career for myself from home so I could still be with the family and support Will on the farm when needed. And we went through different ideas like making beer or doing some craft, neither of which were very successful because I'm not crafty and I prefer lager to beer, and it was just not proving very ideal. So we had stumbled across, in lockdown I enjoyed some gardening, and then we watched some programmes and thought, what about veg boxes? At the time, the pandemic had obviously happened, but direct sales were increasing and people enjoyed eating local food again. So we just decided to sort of venture down that route and see where it took us, really.
So it's like a farm diversification.
It is really, yes. So I can still be on the farm, but gives us a different string to our bow, and help educate our own children and hopefully the local community a bit as well.
So some of your produce is homegrown and the rest comes from a top organic wholesaler who picks to order for you?
Yes. They're based in Manchester and they've been going quite a number of years. Lovely people, very helpful and accommodating, and just have a major ethos of wanting to have natural organic food to the people and reduce food waste and increase sustainability in the agriculture. And they work really hard in trying to achieve that and spread the word. And they moved premises actually this last year to a bigger site, 4 times as their original site. So things are on the up. But with strikes across Europe and the Brexit and the government, how it is, there's lots of challenges that they face. But they're really supportive and continue to provide us with vegetables to choose from.
Well, you obviously have a great relationship with them. And the beautiful fresh vegetables that you grow are grown in a polytunnel that was built by Will, your husband.
Yes. I gave him a little challenge to build a 24 by 60 foot polytunnel.
All right.
Having never built anything, bless him. He did amazingly well. It was quite a deliberation what size to go, because I was wondering what to go for. And he's like, well, in terms of sheds, you never got a big enough shed. You always wish you'd put a bigger one up. So I am happy with my size. It's not too, but I think it's just about right actually for what I was doing last year. And maybe in a couple of years I'll want a bigger one, but it's certainly a good starting bench. But ironically, he did amazingly. He put it up and he completely nurtured it and was very proud of himself. And literally about a week later, Storm Arwen arrived. So it was like the strongest storm we've had in UK history. So I was actually at the pub when it landed, the storm, completely oblivious to what was going on outside. Well, on my return, he was outside battering down extra battens and trying to basically secure it from taking off. Because, he was not going to let it go after all his hard work.
Well, it obviously survived. And you've got 4 daughters.
Yes.
Do they help you with the picking?
Yeah, picking and potting and planting at the beginning of the season as well. Some of them more than others have got involved. It's quite interesting what they enjoy, seeing what they each enjoy doing differently. And the youngest particularly liked eating the sugar snap peas. She just go in there for a few snacks whenever she was hungry, which was nice to see, really. It's better than biscuits.
Healthy snacks,
Very
yes.
healthy.
Anyway, I'm loving my weekly delivery. I'm the customer, you see, and I'm completely sold on this, healthy, locally grown food. And I've really enjoyed, every week having my vegetables decided, and they're all seasonal, and it's a lovely, colourful box to head into. So every night, I use something out of the box. So if we could just have a look in this box, Sarah, and just say, what we could do, what's in there, and what perhaps we could use them for, recipe-wise. Now, I've already used the red cabbage, which I'm loving, actually. And there's some fab recipes that you can find. Because sometimes, we don't have, and we are meat eaters, don't get me wrong, we are meat eaters, but there is at least one night a week now where, one of the meals is completely from the box.
Oh, wow.
So the red cabbage is a huge success. There's a recipe here I found, cutting it into wedges and roasting it. Because roasting is something, we don't perhaps always think of.
Well, actually,
with these vegetable ideas. So
no, definitely.
This recipe here, you roast it and add anchovy fillets and capers and Dijon mustard, and then serve it with a salsa verde.
Oh, lovely. Sounds yummy.
Yeah.
No, I am enjoying looking at all the different recipes.
What's your favourite recipe then?
I'm not sure if I have an exact favourite, but it is surprising what you can do with different vegetables, because I think we all can be a bit guilty of just doing boiling them in a pan or something that's quick and easy.
Well, air fryers must have made a difference, haven't they?
Yes, I personally own an air fryer, but my slow cooker has been out quite a lot this last winter and autumn. So it's surprising with my squashes. I don't know if you knew this, but from looking at recipes and sort of eating far more squash than I used to eat. I don't know about you, but I only used to know about butternut squash, which was because I had children, and all the recipes were like, use butternut squash from puree it. So, but buying from the wholesaler, there is hundreds, it seems like, of different squashes. And I've been working my way through several of them this last season. And they can be an absolute nightmare to peel and then scrape out. But by putting them whole in a slow cooker, they go all soft, and then afterwards you can just see scoop the middle out, or you can peel them when they're softer, which makes it a lot easier than almost ripping your nails off.
There's that spaghetti one.
There is a spaghetti one,
That I can really recommend.
It is. It's nice, isn't it? And then the other day I actually boiled a squash and then I halved it first of all, took the seeds out, then boiled it, and then put some cheese on it, and then put it under the grill, and that was really nice and easy as well.
They're very versatile, aren't they? You can put them with meats and cheeses and
you can.
Sausage casseroles and all sorts of things. I found a wonderful Dahl recipe which you can shred your Savoy cabbage into.
Oh, lovely.
And that sounds really nice. I'll put some of these recipes in the show notes at the end, can't I?
That'd be great, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely thrilled to bits working through. It's a whole new lease of life. Are there any that you grow that are easier than others, or really some that you think, oh, they're really hard, and I'll go to the wholesaler for those?
Yeah, I didn't realise how labour-intensive brassicas were, for two reasons really. They're in the ground for a long time, so take a lot of space up. But also, everything wants to attack it. So everything's against you somehow. So you put them in, and then it didn't have this season. Last summer was so hot, so I was constantly watering them. And they did survive the drought, and so they didn't get a drought. And then the caterpillars came along, and at one point, I think in the summer holidays, I had all the girls at home, and I think all their friends are off doing exciting things. But I got mine out underneath our netting we'd had the brassicas in, picking off caterpillars and trying to spot them and work together as a team under the baking sun. The photographs just looked like we were in some kind of jungle, really, because...
And did you save them?
We saved them, yeah. I mean, the caterpillars, there was just thousands of them. It was unbelievable. There's a lesson I learned, to get them netted sooner, because they just multiply, and also keep the netting off the leaves. That's how they got worse. But then, so I survived that. And then they went and got an aphid after that. So they haven't done very well at all. So
it's difficult being a farmer, isn't it? It's difficult to grow things. It's a hard job.
Yeah, especially organic.
You have all these skills and knowledge. You have to be really on the ball.
Yeah, and
don't you?
it
Just
is a time
shows
management
how
thing
hard
as well.
It is to grow food.
It does, yeah. Well, definitely. So some of my food, unfortunately, didn't prosper. So I think I did manage to get some cutting of my broccoli, but not great really. So definitely that's one to buy in. I've enjoyed doing my salads, and sugar snap peas were very easy actually. However, I have been told that the mice didn't know that they existed this time, whereas next year they might know that.
There is a lot of expertise in the family on growing things, though. Do you ever have to go and ask for advice from Will and John? And
sometimes
they do know a thing or two about growing things.
They did. Well, John gave me a fantastic tip at the beginning of my tunnel, because my ground was part of the original orchard actually, so hadn't been disturbed forever that we really know of. So it was very compacted. It's grown beautiful produce, but to help with my digging, John suggested that I put some potatoes in the one bed. And the ground afterwards was so lush. It was, really did break it up. And that was tip from his father. So it's come down the generations. Yes. So that was really useful. And I asked a bit about soil health, a bit of manure and different
good bit
things.
of FYM in there.
Yeah.
So going back to the box, tell us, because I'm not quite the vegetable eater that some people are, how many vegetables come in a box?
Well, there's 2 different sizes. There's one box that contains 8 and one that contains 10, so a regular and a large size. Most customers are a regular box, so most of my customers, I suppose, are either couples or single occupants or families of 4, and so regular box manages those people, and then the larger families tend to have the large box.
And then you can have the odd add-on like eggs or... Yeah,
if you'd like to. I sell honey, which is actually the hives are based, or the honey I've currently got, the hives were on Bangor Racecourse. So completely, it's wildflower honey. It's really lovely. I wasn't actually a honey eater before. We got given some samples. I was like, this is nice. So there's honey and there's eggs that we do ourselves or have come from the farm. And then also you can potentially get some cheese, or I could give you extra. Well, I don't tend to do extra vegetables because it makes my ordering a bit complicated. But if there were, someone that always wanted something each week, I could try and source that for them as well.
And the actual boxes themselves, they get picked up every week, and so they're... Yeah,
just to reduce waste, really, unnecessarily clutter. So my vegetables arrive in these boxes, and then I box them into the customer boxes. So I've not actually bought any boxes, it's just kind of recycled them. And then each week I take a full box to a customer and remove the empty one. So it's a good way of reducing cardboard waste.
So you deliver weekly. Is this going to be very tiring? Sort of what happens if you did want to have a few days break?
Well, I've had one week's holiday in October last year, and it worked really well. Actually, I asked my customers if they could potentially pick up as a one-off while I went on holiday, and they're all lovely, so they didn't seem to mind. So they just came to collect from the farm, or because of the location, some could be collected from the cheese machine, but majority collected from the farm, to be fair. And then I just my mother-in-law was amazing. She helped me, in my absence, box them all up and put them out for people. So hopefully. And then another time I've had is my daughter's birthday recently, and I asked my customers if I could deliver the night before. So I try and keep in communication with them, and hopefully.
Well, when all these girls grow up, you'll have 4 extra drivers.
Well, I will, yes.
So you involve the local community a lot, and Overton-on-Dee is a good village for everybody sort of mucking in, and you must get a lot of reward from the local community.
Yes, I think I'm that kind of person. I've always liked joining in with different activities, whether it be at university or young farmers. And I do enjoy that sort of community sort of ethos. I was involved with the playgroup and now the school. So there's nothing more warming to me than when you go to, whether it be the church or the WI event, that I've attended both of those. And people like, I've seen your vegetables, or I know my friend's a customer, and lots of lovely feedback. And I feel like you are providing, between the butchers, the shop, and all the different things we have in the village, that we're just providing that extra.
So there's a lot
dimension.
of working together.
Yes,
going
very much
on.
so. Yeah, which seems to be great.
Yes, it is great. So, it must have been hard to get it going. So you must have appreciated the contacts to help you to launch it in the beginning.
Yeah, I think initially the children's eggs really kind of helped me decide to do the vegetables, because the delivering of the eggs at the school gates or people I know in the village went down really well, and the butchers. So
you could see a sort of network starting up.
It wasn't too daunting in that regard. And then originally, a lot of my customers, I suppose, were people I knew who wanted to support, but also had the same values as myself. So most of them are still with me now. So that's great too.
How much further do you want to grow? Are you going to keep the business sort of within the village, or are you thinking of, really continuing to keep on growing, or how much do you really want to expand?
Well, I'm feeling that because it's just been 12 months since the launch, so it's quite a good time to review where you are and your future plans. I feel it's been a great first year, but this next year now, rather than just establishing myself, needs to sort of refine the working practices. So certainly grow more myself and buy less in, simply because of margin, really, and the time balance as well with home.
So you feel you've got enough customers at the moment for you to be able to go to the next stage? Well,
I'd like to increase my customer base as well, but also at the same time refine what I'm doing rather than necessarily expanding my radius. I think currently the time-wise it takes to deliver and who I'm passing in between works out quite well. So just more within the area, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it must be quite a hard day's work delivering all the boxes.
Well, it's not too bad. I tend to do it in stages, really, because the delivery comes Wednesday afternoon. It varies on what time. And there's not quite enough time for them to go and deliver at night. And I did a launch that way, but then I was literally hitting rush hour traffic in the dark. And it was raining and people didn't want to receive it then. So it works better delivering on a Thursday morning. So in terms of the actual packing the boxes and loading the van, that's done one day, and then the actual delivering's the next. So it's quite a nice break in between. So altogether, if you would do it all together, it's quite intense, but I have a bit of a...
So you mentioned before you'd done a sort of price comparison, because this box is, what, £13?
75.
75, that's a regular box. Did you say you'd done some price comparisons with, what you could get if you...
I have, yes, and I did them again actually yesterday just to double check.
Yeah.
And yes, I am. I'm bang on with the bit larger supermarkets. I'm cheaper than Riverford, who have the same ethos. Because perhaps Tesco came in 50p cheaper, but then organic could be coming from far away.
Yeah.
And secondly, most importantly, when I was putting in items I put in my box this past week, they didn't have them. They're just not available. So, Riverford might be able to offer you the same sort of boxes as myself, because I often look at what they're putting in to match as well. But I'm a lot cheaper than Riverford.
And you're much fresher.
Yes, because, exactly. So, and look at some of the other deliveries. I'm definitely on target with price.
To return to the wholesaler, you obviously don't have any connection with his farmers. How does he view the whole food industry at the moment?
Frustrated, really, about how much food's still being wasted. He's really good. He does have a good link with his customers. If you go on their website, actually, you can... There's pictures of most of their suppliers, and they're out visiting them as and when, and putting YouTube videos and interviews together with them. So it's very transparent as well. So you know exactly where if you wanted to, you could sit and look at where your cabbage has come from last week, type thing. So it's very open. He gets frustrated with the waste. As I was saying, the site he's on, he's got other food suppliers or wholesalers on his neighbours, and he often witnesses through his window, crates or pallets being just wasted because they've either been over-ordered, whereas because from my point of view, I order 10 days previously. Once we've ordered online, he orders from the suppliers. So it's literally, just in time kind of process, which reduces waste, which is better for everybody, isn't it?
How have you escaped being on a podcast before with Will being an expert podcaster? He was. Let me say. Will you say what he used to do?
Well, he launched the Farming Rock and Roll podcast, which was a great success, which he did out of our spare room.
Did you have any input into that, or?
Not really, other than listening to him get excited about
Yeah.
learning the skill of doing it, and then who he'd been talking to that night.
Because he's been doing it a long time before we started.
Yes, no, he did. He did enjoy it a lot, and then since then he's been a presenter on a couple of others as well. He really did enjoy it. He loved meeting them, and you can tell listening to them that he got a lot from it. And listening to him personally come off saying, "Oh, I've just had a great conversation with whoever it may be." So, and then from there, actually, he's done quite well with what other things he's gone on to do. So, kind of raised his profile. So, but no, I wasn't really. I didn't particularly want to be interviewed. He did talk about me once, but
I certainly remember him telling us how time-consuming it was, and that he was actually stepping back to give more time to his wife and his children.
Yes, no, he's a wonderful family man. So, yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting things you can find out, and it's a huge sort of area that traditionally farmers haven't been one to explain what they do, and it's such a good medium and forum to talk about these things.
Absolutely.
Which is what we're hoping will, people will be interested in listening about your vegetable boxes, because it's certainly helped me an awful lot, and it's been a lot of fun to use them.
Well, I think a lot of customers do give me that feedback that they're enjoying somewhat the excitement of it arriving, really, the fact that, I forgot this week type thing. And then trying new recipes, and just because you only have to try one a week, you don't have to try something with every item, but it just makes light it in, makes your taste buds just wake up again, doesn't it? Because you try new flavours and you're learning new skills along the way as well.
Brightens up the menus, definitely. So you've had some articles in the press and some awards. What have you had written about you?
Written about me was the most recent one was Farmer's Guardian. Even I was on the page 9, and that's talking about the Watery Lane produce business. And that came on the back of Farming Connect, which is the Welsh supported.
So they helped you initially, didn't they,
They did. They were brilliant. A lot of networking and support. I mean, my mentor, his name's Phil. He's lovely. And although my sort of hours from Farming Connect are finished, he's like, pick up the phone anytime, if I'm here to support you. So lovely people.
So anyone in the farming world can get in touch with Farming Connect if they've got business ideas and be helped.
Yeah, definitely. No, they're really supportive.
Well, any publicity is good, really, isn't it, as far as your box is concerned. So your advertising's through social media. Do you find this comes naturally and easily to you, or has it been a bit of a challenge?
Not at all naturally, no. I'm more of a talker. I'd like to do more videos, but I have to be in the right frame of mind. Going back to Will, he loves to just put random stuff out all the time, hence he's got a massive following. But I feel like I have to have something interesting to say, and I don't think it was always that interesting, particularly at the moment when the tunnel's like almost in hibernation at the moment. But it is nice when you do put things out and you're proud of it to share it and interact with different people on the other end is really great. So and I have learned a lot from it.
What seems so normal to you and so mundane, actually, for the people that don't know about it, is very interesting.
It
sort
is,
of thing.
yeah.
So you have to slightly publicise yourself, I think.
You do, yes.
Yeah.
Which I need to perhaps do a little bit more of.
Well, I think everybody's interested in growing things and the good that it does for people's general well-being, and it does do a lot of good.
Well, it does,
generally.
It is very relaxing and satisfying, and we're just getting out in the fresh air and doing something like that really is good. Yes,
very healthy all round. Now we get to the quick fire questions. What is the best thing about growing?
Is eating the produce, I think,
Of
really.
course.
The satisfaction that, I've grown these things.
Right, Claire has chosen these questions. So we're on Felicity Kendall, in brackets it says Barbara, or Penelope Keith, who's Marjorie.
Barbara. I have watched it, but not recently.
Oh, we love it.
Well, I don't think there's anybody that really identifies with Marjorie, is there? Everyone's supposed to identify with Barbara, who does all the good, healthy growing. Now, have you ever had any funny misshaped vegetables? These always are good for social media, aren't they?
Yeah, I haven't really. Apart from like the typical massive marrows, nothing really bizarre. I mean, you going back to my awards, I did win Best Tomato Truss and overall veg in the Everton show. So no mishaps, but I have had some successes.
Yes, of course.
And do we work in kilos or pounds?
That's an interesting one. With my veg, it's always in pounds and ounces. But in my cooking, actually, I use my kilograms and whatnot.
So we have to use both, don't we?
We do.
Chestnut or shiitake?
I'm not actually a mushroom fan, but if I had to, it'd be chestnut.
Mini veg or standard size?
Standard size, actually. Yeah. The bigger, the better. Yeah.
And finally, we like to finish with a joke or a motto to finish.
Yeah, this would make me ponder. So I did look at a few jokes, and I'm not really a jokey person. So then I was thinking quotes or inspiration things, and there are so many out there, and you listen to them, and I'm terrible at remembering these sort of things. I think it has to resonate on a personal matter. So the one thing I thought of was, unfortunately, we lost a dear friend a couple of years ago, and she had the motto of when something was a bit daunting or it was hard to achieve, just put your big girl pants on, and then you can get on and do it. So that's kind of stuck with me. So when things have been daunting or challenging, just think, put your big girl's pants on and go and do it.
Well, she sounds like an inspiration to you. Well done, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Sarah, on your first year of Watery Lane Produce, where you have managed to set up a profitable business which you enjoy and you believe in, with its ethos of quality and sustainability. A rock and roll farm her.
Please check out Sarah's website, Watery Lane Produce, and spread the word and share this episode with all your friends. And we look forward to next month when it could be you in the driving seat.